Cancer, you're here before me for your Cancer May 2020 reading. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James. For those of you who haven't met me before, oh, that'll do, I think. Now, welcome back to my subscribers. It's great to see you. I love the fact that you stop by each month, and I enjoy talking to you over the comments. And of course, I've done readings for some of you, haven't I, over the last month, and private readings. And it's been great to get to know you better that way. If you would like to have a private reading, just check out the information in the description box below, and that will give you everything that you need to know. But now we're going to do month of May tarot. I think what I might do is I'm going to start with a theme card, I think, and the theme card is actually quite insightful. It will give you a good insight into what's really going on deep down inside you, I think. You can very often get into the shadow side. Bring up things, bring great news, or tell you what you need to work on. And why don't I, in fact, try to... Oh, there it is. Truth. Well, that's interesting. Now some tarot as well. Now this tarot deck I acquired from a lady in San Francisco, an artist in San Francisco, who's particularly good, I think. She seemed to have the vibe when it came to tarot depiction as far as I'm concerned, and so I thought I'll get hold of you and see what you can provide. And she has provided this. Now there's the Prince of Swords. Here is the Empress. Gee, that's a good card for you, the Empress. What's this one here? The Eight of Discs. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Very interesting. Good for you, and good for you at this time. The Princess of Discs. Gee, she's a fiery looking woman. And there's the Ace of Cups. Now I'm going to also provide for you 3 playing cards. Now, probably for the last time for a while, I think. I might do the Thoth Tarot next month. Now the Thoth Tarot cards have a lot of esoteric imagery in there which escapes very many people, and I might spend some time just pointing out some of the more interesting aspects of that esoteric imagery which is to be found within that deck, and which often is not seen by people. And so that will take up the time that would otherwise be taken by this. This is the 9 of Spades, and there's the 8 of Spades. Now what's this one? The 6 of Spades. Wow, you've got spades coming everywhere here, but it's good news in the way that they run together, I think. So, why don't we get together, have a good close look at these cards, and I'll do the reading for you. Well, let's see what they have to say. Let's deal first with this card of Truth. Now, truth. What is truth? I think that was in the Christian Gospel according to John, wasn't it? Do you know, truth is not just simply one's own understanding of how things are, for truth is deeper than that. It is an unspoken knowing that comes from deep within. It is the soul acknowledging the truth in its purest form. Truth can often be clouded by others' interpretations of life, yet your soul has a remarkable way of distinguishing what is real and what is not. If you don't trust your intuition, your gut will show you the truth. Spend time listening and take note of your body, as all the answers you are looking for are there within you. Just look inside and listen. You know what you're doing. You're very intuitive, aren't you? Let's look to see what else we might have a look at here. Where shall we go? Well, you drew him first, so shall we have a look at him? The great young man. He looks like an adolescent, doesn't he? Let's see what he has to say. Yes, he looks like an adolescent here. The Prince of Swords. Well, placed where he is, up here, and with this Princess of Discs below him, I'll get to her in just a moment. I really see around this Aquarius and Capricorn, so they may well be important to you at this time. He is the Prince of the Chariots of the Winds. Now, a young man, now I'll refer to him as a man, but of course the court cards can be either male or female. But a young man who is intellectual, full of ideas and plans, very clever, but basically unstable. Someone who can be domineering at times, elusive, and someone who is very impressionable. Now, esoterically, this young man is air, and in swords is in the suit of air. So there's lots of air, activity, and not plans. But progress in any direction that he takes is really accidental, really more than planned. You might ask yourself whether there are some aspects of your life where you feel you might be out of control at the moment. I think that what we have here is a person who is telling you that you are intelligent and you have a highly developed intellect, that yes, you're quite comfortable with thinking and questioning and philosophizing. You are good at creating ideas quickly, but do you move on too fast without developing them? You see, his intellect can be draining to those who are around him. So you might think to yourself, what is it that I can do that can actually get my ideas across to other people? Now, this guy here, he can be independent, private. He can be difficult to know, which is not like you at all. So maybe this is something that you might have a tendency to do something. Now, he lacks emotional warmth. You definitely don't. And empathy. But I think that the way you may be putting things across, just be careful that you're not too strident in the way that you do things. Because I think that this guy is saying to you that maybe you need to slow down and analyze your thoughts to see if something practical can come about from those thoughts. Yeah, you'll be really quite analytical. I'd have this thought in mind, and it is, my creative possibilities have no limits. And in that regard, you might ask yourself, what beliefs, feelings, relationships, or programmed ideas do you allow to limit you? Yeah. Let's see what the question is. See, he'd have a different meaning if he was in a different position, but there he is there. And he has, if you like, a cousin, which is beneath him, who is this beautiful young woman, this Princess of Discs. Now, the Princess of Discs here, she looks, doesn't she, as if she takes no prisoners. She looks as if she's very strident, able to push ahead and go and scramble over the top of everybody. Somebody not to mess around with at all. That's what she looks like. But in this position, and in the same line as this Ace of Cups here, which is having an influence over her, I think that her meaning is really, well, she seems to me to be the princess of the echoing hills, the rose of the palace of the earth. And I think that Gemini, Aries, and Taurus are going to be important to you during this period. She is a woman, like you, beautiful and strong, pregnant with life, generous, kind, and benevolent. Now, there's a great deal of feeling of birth around her, I'm getting. Pregnancy, renewal, harmony. I think that this is a time when she's saying that you will be kind and benevolent, but you're going to be following your will or true purpose in life. And here is truth coming through again. So this is about getting in touch with that most important aspect of yourself and protecting it. Just like this woman appears that she has the capacity to defend and protect anything. Now, as I say, you may hear of a physical pregnancy or the birth of ideas. I think what she does is she's also saying that she's bringing to you a productive time after what has, I think, been, in your mind, something of a barren stretch, hasn't it? Yeah. This is a particularly good card for those who are involved in domestic life, domestic duties, looking after families. It's a great card and a great time for people with families and looking after those family relationships. Where shall we go next? I think we might go to this Empress. She's crying out. She's Major Arcana, of course. Major Arcana number 3. And what do we have to say about her? Well, a beautiful representation of the Empress, I think you will agree. A couple of doves above her head. These stars look like they are in a heart shape, don't they? I'm just noticed that. And so what they're saying is that she almost, in a sense, embodies universal, cosmic, divine love itself. And there are galaxies up there, and one can almost see here from her genitalia a spiral galaxy forming from her genitalia, which of course is production and the canal of birth, and she stands above life itself. Now the Empress, in the first 4 Major Arcana cards, we have number 3, the Empress, and before her number 2, the High Priestess in the Major Arcana. They are the 2 mother archetypes in the first few Major Arcana. The High Priestess, who is cold and remote, the empty void or ocean. And then there is the Empress, who is warm, nurturing, and overflowing with diversity and abundance. The Empress isn't just the mother to a single child. She is a symbol of the mother of everything, the abundance and fertility of creation, and she carries all things across the void of creation and into the world of manifestation. She takes a child and carries it in her body, covering it with her flesh at first, and then, after delivering it, takes it across the threshold from spirit and into matter. She carries it out of the dark forest and into the light of the sun. She is really, for me, the daughter of the mighty ones. The daughter of the mighty ones. The element is Earth, and the planet around her is Venus. She speaks also to me of pregnancy, so I really do think that you're going to be hearing something about that. I suppose it might be because people are spending so much time at home at the moment. Maybe that's what pregnancies are going to be coming up with. But it also talks about being in touch with the inner beauty of your life. I think you may well find yourself exploring a relationship with your mother or with a mother figure. Or indeed, now, because I've got the Prince on the other side here, this could also be a father figure. And you may be exploring a relationship with a maternal or a paternal person or figure, or you may be acting as a maternal or paternal figure to somebody else, giving them guidance, giving them counsel. I think you'll have a very empathetic and caring personality during this time, and this card, it's really reminding you that spirituality is expressed from the heart and not from the head. In fact, also very much from the actions that you undertake, the works that you perform for other people, demonstrating here in flesh the love of the divinity and community and the love of people around you. I think this is a time when you will be nurturing other people. And I think it's also a time really when you will be nurturing yourself. And I think it's quite right that you should have some time to nurture yourself, because you really do attract other people to you who need nurturing, don't you? Very much so. I think it's possible that you'll have a strong interest in nature, is what I'm getting up here. And I don't think that anyone's going to be able to easily characterize you as being either intellectual or emotional. Now, this is a time when you will be actually showing great leadership ability, and it's a particularly good card for women in that respect. And it's one which says, look, one should also think, in your life, is there a beautiful, strong woman from whom you would like to learn? Have this thought in mind. I give and receive wisely. I realize that the capacity to receive is equally as important and powerful as the capacity to give. I value the healing power of beauty, harmony, and love. Okay, let's have a look here. The Ace of Cups. Well, the Ace of Cups is really it's really got you written all over it. This is you, this is Cancer all over it, this Ace of Cups. This is the cup. This card is really, really, really meant for you this month, because it's saying that the cup of unconditional love is being presented to you. Will you drink from it? You may also have something to do with a Leo. It could also have something to do with a Gemini, I think. This Ace of Cups is one that says there's a good opportunity here for new relationships and for a new romance if people are in their market for that. And again, very much I'm getting the feeling of birth and pregnancy around here. I think it's also saying to you that you should give and forgive. Give and forgive in equal measure. There is abundance. Sensual passion is also something that I'm getting. And there's emotional balance available for you to... excuse me while I just bash my head on that. There's an emotional balance which is available for you to use, and which is going to be around, I think, for the next 12 months, I'd say. Yeah, certainly through the rest of this year. This is a really, really good card for Cancer. It is full of relationships, and it's beautifully, beautifully placed. Now, there may be some things to do, and let's have a look at them. Well, I don't need to draw that out. Let's have a look. Here is the Eight of Discs. Now look at this horse. He's sort of floating in the air, isn't he? And you can see this flower. That's a flower that I suppose one would say it could represent a mandala, which is a Tibetan Buddhist image that people concentrated on while praying. Well, in fact, they do, not did, but they do that. But what it's also saying is that, well, here are some opportunities which could have been pursued, but what's important is that you don't go chasing all these different leaves, is what I'm thinking, but rather that you focus in on something. The astrology of this card is particularly interesting for me, and I see it here in this position in the center as being the sun ruling the first decan of Virgo, 23rd of August to the 2nd of September, I think that is. Now, what's interesting, so the sun in Virgo. Now, this number 8 here also is quite interesting for me. This is the 8 of discs. The number 8 refers to an area of divine emanation, which is about putting things into place, which is about having overcome obstacles, assessing and bringing together and forming the will to create. And it is associated for me with the planet of Mercury. Now, I say that the astrology of the card is the sun ruling Virgo and Mercury in the number 8. Well, Virgo, Mercury is also the planet of Virgo, and Mercury is exalted in Virgo. So we have Mercury guiding Virgo, exalted in Virgo, and Mercury in this card as well. Now, this is very favorable. And I think that what we have here, with the sun ruling Virgo, the sun energizing Virgo's hard work and attention to detail. I'm also still getting pregnancy and birth around here. I think that what this is saying here is that you might think that, and it's a good thing to recall, is that sometimes there is a strength in doing nothing at all. Sow the seed, set back, and wait for the harvest. Also a time of being cautious, taking calculated risks, and be careful with money. And use this time for learning and upskilling yourself. I think it's also a recommendation for you to pay attention to structure and detail, because those things are going to benefit you if you do pay attention to them. I think there is something that you need time and patience to develop, but don't rush it, as it's a long-term thing, and be prepared to bide your time and let it come to fruition. Now, this energy here in the center is encouraging you to keep doing what you're doing, as it is eventually going to lead to success. Now, sure, it's going to require a lot of dedication and focus and patience, but as time passes, you will get closer to your goal. Now, you see all these things going on in the background here? I think that it may not be apparent to you, but events are unfolding in the background that are going to lead you to your destination. The other thing is this, is that I sometimes think that there's the chance that you can run yourself ragged, and so that there is the necessity, I think, for you to concentrate your energies and to determine where your energy can be most productively spent, but also in a way which keeps balance in your life, so that you don't spend too much effort in one area and not in other areas. Well, okay, let's have a look at these cards here quickly and see what these can represent. Now, in personal readings that I do, I use up to about 20 cards, I think. So, now, this Nine of Spades, it can often refer to, but I don't think it does refer, it can refer to illness. It can refer to depression. It can refer to, it's one of the death cards, but there's no death here. What I do think it represents, and very much the feeling that I'm getting here from it, is this, and I think that this is important to say to you, and it's come up, I think, like this for me, or to me, for you, and it is this. Despite what you may believe, you can disappoint people and still be good enough. You can make mistakes and still be capable and talented. You can let people down and still be worthwhile and deserving of love. Everyone has disappointed someone they care about. Everyone messes up, lets people down, makes mistakes, not because we're inadequate or fundamentally inept, but because we're imperfect and we are fundamentally human. Expecting anything different is setting yourself up for failure. Because remember, nobody is perfect. Then I come to this one here, which is the 8. Now, this can very much refer to work, and actually sometimes it can appear in spreads, in readings I've done, and it can show workaholism, if you like. But I think it represents health and work matters for you, and to make sure that you keep a balance or problems can come by. Now, it's possible that there may be some obstacles or people letting you down or plans going astray, cancellations, small disappointments, but all of those things can be overcome, so don't have any great concern about that. That's as it appears in this line. Now we have this one, which is the 6. Actually, it's interesting, you've got the 3 in the same suit. This is really, see, this 6 is talking to me about transition, about things being left behind and new things to do. It is almost as if you are the viewer of fate. It's a card of fate, I think, in this reading, where you will see small improvements. Now, it is a warning card about domestic life, finance, and career. You may find that, but that's just a warning, so it's to keep an eye on those things. Don't let things run out of control. Domestic life, and career, and finances. And there may be conflict and lack of cooperation from other people or from yourself. But look within yourself to see where the problems arise. And again, we're coming back to this card, which, well, there are no coincidences to see where the truth actually lies. So that's the way it is for you this month. Well, there we go, May 2020, and I really enjoyed doing that reading for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Do you know, you were fantastic during that reading, as you always are, and the only thing that's left for me to say really is this, and that is that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month, and until then, bye for now.